20 of America's smartest kids face off in TV's Battle of the Brains, and an 8-year-old girl from D.C. steps up to the challenge on the Lifetime Channel's Child Genius. Washington Full Circle starts right now.
Welcome everyone to the Child Genius Finals.
38.
Correct.
56.
Correct.
62.9.
Correct.
Ungulates.
Correct.
Pupil.
Correct.
Austria.
Incorrect. Poland.
Monotremes.
Correct.
Pass. Lake Huron.
Correct. You answered 14 questions correctly. Great job. Congratulations, competitors. You have all done an outstanding job.
And competing alongside those pint-sized brainiacs was an 8-year-old whiz kid from D.C. Her name is Eden Wilson, and she's here in our studio today, joined by her mom and mentor, Eva Wilson. Welcome to Washington Full Circle to both of you.
Thank you.
I am excited to have you here. I saw you on television, and my first question to you is, does it hurt having a brain that big?
Well, it doesn't really hurt because sometimes I don't really notice.
Well, I appreciate you coming by to tell us all about it because I'm really curious about the show. Now, was there a lot of preparation going into the program when you learned that you were going to be on it?
Well, there wasn't a lot of preparation because I didn't really study that much. I just went on about what I do every day.
And what you do every day is read a lot of books?
I read a lot of books, and I do what I do in homeschool. We do history online and math and stuff.
What's your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is history because I like to compare what life was like a long time ago to what it's like now.
Wow, at 8 years, now you're 9 years old now, right?
I'm 9 years old.
9 years old. Now, when did you first, when did the light bulb go off in your head that you said, oh, I think Eden is special, that there's a little more going on up there?
Well, of course, every parent thinks their kid is special from the day that they see them. But I used to do flashcards with my middle son, who is 11 months older than Eden. Mm-hmm. And they had cribs that faced each other. So I would do the flashcards with him and just thinking she would just kind of be in her crib, just kind of waiting to fall asleep. And she started to do the flashcards along with him, and she could barely stand up. So we were like, okay, I guess we have to turn and do both sides because I would be facing him, and then she's yelling out the answers from behind me. So, she just kind of joined in with what he was doing, and she picked up things very, very quickly. She ended up in first grade class at 3.
Wow. Yeah. So how did you feel knowing a lot of stuff and those around you sort of weren't keeping up? Is that how it was?
Well, not really, because my brothers are smart too. Mm-hmm. It's just they didn't go on the show. They just didn't enter. But I feel normal because sometimes I don't really let it show around other people. You
try and keep it under wraps?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, why is that? You don't want to intimidate people?
Because I don't really want to feel like I'm bragging or anything. So I just, act normal. Sometimes it's kind of hard to not to correct people.
Right. Even adults have that problem of holding back not to correct people. So you get out to the program. There are 20 kids, including yourself. What was it like meeting the others? Was there something that stood out about meeting the others?
Well, a lot of them were like me, mm-hmm. So it was really easy to talk to them because they knew a lot of the same stuff that I did, and I felt like I belonged, and it was really fun.
Now, who did you hit it off with the most? Who did you bond with the most?
The most I bonded with, there were 2 girls, one named Madison and the other named Katie. One of them was younger than me and one was older than me.
Uh-huh. Now, Eva, meeting some of the other parents, what was that like? Was everyone tense, or was everyone sort of laid back? They'd been through this before.
Everyone was pretty relaxed, but everyone had their routine with their children. So if there were parents that studied a lot with their kids, that's what they did while they were there. If there were parents that just kind of, hung out and let the kids do whatever they felt comfortable doing, that's what they did. It didn't seem like anyone was out of their element or overbearing or anything like that.
And I guess the overriding thing over this whole contest was the prize money. I believe it was a $100,000 scholarship. Was that it?
Yes, because these kids intend to go to some pretty prestigious places, so that prize money was a big deal.
Wow. So, Eden, when you were going through this process, what was the most challenging time for you during that whole contest?
During the contest, the most challenging part for me was the mental math, because it takes longer for me to do it in my head, because sometimes I forget which number I'm carrying, or like the numbers just automatically change in my head if I'm not focused enough, because if I'm under pressure, then it's hard to focus on what I'm trying to do.
Right. And so I guess the pressure too was that there were time constraints, because I heard them on the show saying divide this by this, plus this, multiply that. So it was difficult that way, challenging to keep all that up in your head?
Because usually when I'm doing it on paper, I save the numbers, like I write down the number, and then I do the other operation, and then I save the number, and then I keep going. But it's hard to save the number in your head because it just disappears when you're trying to do the other.
You're making my head hurt just trying to go through that, but stick with us. Stay with us for more of Child Genius contestant Eden and her mom, Ava Wilson, on the genius of raising a brilliant kid. Washington Full Circle will be right back after this. Welcome back to Washington Full Circle. I'm Furman Patterson here with DC's own Child Genius contestant Eden and her mom Eva Wilson. Now, at during the contest, I did notice a very famous astronaut there. Tell us about meeting this VIP.
Leland Melvin, he was very, very kind to us. One of the things that wasn't on tape after everything was done, we waited so that he could meet the kids, and all of the other parents and everybody, they were all gone, and it had been a really long day, and he waited to talk to Eden and her brothers and to talk to us about STEM and mathematics and science and the importance of it and his story. He was a really, really interesting guy and very, very nice.
I would say. So Eden, what do you remember about meeting this astronaut?
Well, when we met him, after my mom and dad were finished talking, he gave us each one of our very own, it was one of the patches that he had gotten.
Oh, really?
But it was a copy of it.
Yeah.
We each had our own patch.
Man.
It was a space patch.
Yeah. Now, is science one of the subjects that you're interested in?
Well, not really. Sometimes science doesn't make me think that everything is true about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like they're just making things up.
I'm sure he didn't feel like that. So again, tell us about the other children. It seemed from what I saw of the series that there were some real tense moments. Did you have a time where you felt like, oh, I'm sweating bullets here?
Well, I did feel quite nervous, and when I was nervous, I just focused at the task at hand. I kind of just relaxed, kept my mind off of it to make sure that I didn't freak out.
Right. Did you see anyone else freak out?
Well, a lot of them said that they were nervous, but they didn't freak out. They probably had the same technique as I did.
Right. What's your technique at home for when it's time to study and you need to focus? Do you have a special technique that you use?
Well, I have a special technique. Sometimes I practice with my brothers and we see who can get the most questions right. And my mom reads the lessons to us, and we do special like hand movements to make sure that we can tell one fact from another fact, so we can like tell the difference.
Also like a little game, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So while you're doing this, Mom is working on her blog, SocaMom. Tell us what SocaMom is all about.
SocaMom is a Caribbean parenting blog that I started back in 2011. And it's not really so much about what I do with Eden. It's just basically about raising children in America who have a Caribbean background and the little nuances that we deal with food and music and things like that.
Right. And aside from that, you're also going to law school.
I am. I started, hopefully I'll be class of 2017, so I just started this past fall, and it kind of came out of the blog. I have an interest in immigration. My parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, and immigration is something that's very near and dear to my heart.
And you're studying law, not at just any college, but at
Howard University.
Howard University.
It's the same school. I get to see my dad's picture on the wall. It's the same school that my father went to. So
fantastic. And I understand that you're interested in one day going to Howard University.
I kind of want to go to Howard University because it worked for my grandpa, my grandma, because my grandpa went there for undergrad and to get a law degree, and my grandma went there for her master's and medical school. And since it worked out for them and my mom, I think it should work out really well for me too.
Well, I think so. Hearing that, I think that's the place for you. And of course, I'm from Howard, but we won't talk about that. We want to talk about your interest in writing a book. I understand that you already started on writing a book.
Oh, I started on writing a book. It's about a mystery where there's a girl that seems really weird, and and she's magical, and they're like, how is all this weird stuff happening? Because there's a lot of weird stuff happening in the story, and it's all because of her. But I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, don't spoil it. Yeah, you haven't finished it yet. Why did you choose that topic, though?
Well, I didn't really have a reason for choosing the topic. I just made it up as I went along.
Oh, okay, okay. So some of your other, when you're not exercising the brain, you're exercising, doing other things. I hear you're interested in ballet and some other things. Tell us about your hobbies and the things that make you happy.
Well, dancing makes me calm, and whenever I leave the class, I'm much happier than when I come in. And African dance, it makes me feel free.
Okay. Now, Mom, so is this, are those the type of things that you need to do to have separate, I guess, hobbies aside from studying all the time?
well, we make sure that she has outlets. She's very calm right now, but if there's a grade that's less than 100, it doesn't go well in our house. So
Wow.
she has a lot of calming activities that we do. So let's say that the day there was a 98 during the day and there was a fit and something like that happened, she always has ballet afterwards. Or if it's a day that she doesn't have an activity or she doesn't have African dance or something like that, she has violin. And she'll play violin in her room on her own.
Yeah.
We got her a mirror and a music stand so she can
Excellent.
play violin by herself.
Excellent.
And she also crochets.
Thanks to both of you.
Yep.
Tons, you're a genius. Thanks to both of you. From extraordinary minds to extraordinary voices, a brilliant musical performance is up next on Washington Full Circle. Before we go, I want to thank one truly gifted young lady and her mom for joining us today, but also to share with you an incredible musical performance by a group of gifted young men. Valikia Newsom reports on the internationally renowned Morehouse Glee Club and their performance during a recent visit to D.C.
Every year, a group of men journey from Atlanta's famed Morehouse College to the District of Columbia to spread a little glee. They are the Morehouse College Glee Club, and their annual performance has become a signature event for the Martin Luther King Jr. Library. Under the direction of Dr. David Morrow, a former member himself, the Morehouse College Glee Club has performed with mega music stars and, during its 104 years in existence, has performed all over the world.
We've sung with Jesse Norman. We've sung with Shirley Caesar from the 1996 Olympics when we sang with Gloria Estefan and Stevie Wonder. We were in a concert at the Rialto Theater in Atlanta, and Take Six was the group that was featured. And so we asked them, could we sing one number with them? And they were very excited about that, so we did one number with them.
For these singing students, upholding the legacy of excellence, all while keeping up with college studies, is all about balance.
It's a difficult balance, but you learn how to make it work. You learn how to work on the road, to study on the bus, to write papers on the bus, but you find those niches in the day, and you make a balance, and it's definitely, the reward pays off, so it's worth the extra work.
And while my school days have come and gone, I couldn't shake the urge to see if I had the vocal chops to make it. I'm not a man, and I don't go to Morehouse, but can you just see if I could make it into the choir? Now let me just give you a little something, okay? La la la.
Yeah, we can work with you.
Okay.
And you could,
I'm in.
you'd have to go to Spelman though.
That's right, okay.
Well, we actually sing with Spelman. In fact, on this tour, we did a joint concert. We met up and did a joint concert with the Spelman College Glee Club, so they get a chance to do mixed chorus music too.
Now in its historic 40th year, the Morehouse College Glee Club concert at the MLK Library is always a sensation, with a full presentation of over a dozen vocal selections, like the spirited Nigerian carol, Betelehimu. crowd is always left standing on their feet.